This is PlayerProps.ai. This for winners research. We run it up with every betting tool you know in each perk. Trevor's tested waters help you swim even the feet first. Now strategies and all you need to help you PlayerProps.ai. This for winners research. We run it up with every betting tool you know in each perk. Trevor's tested waters help you swim even the feet first. Now strategies and all you need to help you eat.
Hey guys, it's me, Tros with PlayerProps.ai. If you did not have more money at the end of last week than what you started with, well, you're in the right place because we're here to turn that around. This particular show was focusing on what we're locking in for MLB for Monday, April 28th. Now, for the millionth time, if you've seen multiple videos and you're still not in the free community Discord or using the free version of the PlayerProps.ai app, it's probably why you don't have more money than what you started with. If this is your first time, well, you still got time to join us. So download the app, which more than likely you have it on your phone. Create the free account, use the free version, watch the free videos, get into the free Discord. And then, of course, there's only channel that you can see in the free Discord the minute you join. It says unlock channels. Guess what you got to do to unlock channels? Exactly what that channel says. Unlock channels, hop in there, and start your changing of success around with sports betting to where you actually put yourself in a position to win more than what you lose. For the past 4 shows last week, we were kind of highlighting our brand new MLB spread predictor that's been crushing it. On Monday of last week, a week ago today, I looked, we kind of played around with the model a little bit, reformatted it, redesigned it, and then the first day, which was Tuesday of last week, of launching the MLB spread predictor, we hit 100% out of every single game, which there's 15 games on Monday, that were played for MLB. We actually hit every single one on what the MLB spread predictor said was going to happen. And then what we've been doing is we've been tracking that along for the last however many days. So I put all that to a graphic, which I've been doing for the past few shows. I'm going to pull that up on screen. If you are brand new to PlayerProps.ai and you haven't even looked at the app yet, well, that's the first thing you need to do. But for the team tools, the Moneyline predictor, the spread predictor, the total predictor, these tools are not 100% behind a paywall. What that means is you can actually use them and learn how to use them 100% free before ever sending us a single penny. What we do for the team tools is you get to see one of the plays on top, and then everything else requires a premium access. But you still get to see something that the premium users get to see, and that's the top Moneyline predictor play. So if you just blindly tailed without even researching or anything, if you just blindly did the free play on the MLB spread predictor, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, Saturday, and Sunday, you only missed one. So out of all of those days, you would have made profit collectively because only once, since we redid the whole design, the model, the algorithm, if you will, it's only missed a top play for the MLB spread predictor is only missed once, which of course that's what the graphic shows. So what I wanted to do, I actually want to step further than just putting it all into a graphic and making it green and red, because a lot of you couldn't really see if it was a sad face or if it was a coin. So it made it easier to tell what hit and what lost. There's a good chunk of red for Sundays for whatever reason across any kind of tool, any kind of betting, not any kind of tool, but just Sunday betting in general. For whatever reason, Sundays are not as profitable as the other days. So maybe you can stay away from Sundays. I don't know. But something that's very interesting is I put all of this back into AI, and it's like, okay, here's the win losses. Here's the projected percentages on how heavily the AI is leaning to one side. And then I asked the AI, I said, what trends or what's something to note from all of this data you said? And so the AI came back and said, okay, so first off, -1.5 spreads, even if the AI leans a direction, no matter what the percentage is only hitting at 45.5%, which of course is suboptimal, less than 50%. There's only been 11 games that the AI has a lean towards the -1.5, and out of 11 games, it's won 5 and lost 6. That's not profitable through 5 or 6 days of doing this, so we're going to, moving forward, completely avoid -1.5s. Now, I then asked, okay, so if we're only playing the +1.5 spreads the AI tells us to do, which percentage should we, like percentage range of what, how heavily the AI is leaning one side, should we pay attention to? And the AI actually, I didn't think the AI was going to say this, but it's pretty interesting. So you see there's a lot of green on the bottom, which is the lower percentages, and there's a lot of green on top. The AI actually said that it does not with all of the data since we redid this model, it actually doesn't matter which percentage you pay attention to. The low percentages, so anything below 60%, there's been 21 games since we launched this, 21 games where the AI has favored the plus 1.5 spread and the percentage of probability or projected chance is less than 60%. Out of those 21 games, it's actually hit 16 of them. So it's a 16-5 record, and that's a crazy 76.2%. So I was going to think that it's going to say, oh, only focus on 65% or higher, but below 60% is actually hitting higher than anything. For 60% to 65% or 64.99%, it's hitting at 68.8%, another profitable range. And then anything above 65% probability or projected chance is hitting at 66.7%. So the AI is like, listen, for what the data we have for the first 5 or 6 days of this new model, there's actually, like, even if you play things that are 50.01% or higher, as long as it's plus 1.5, you're profitable. So to break it down as simple as possible, if you just blindly locked in every single plus 1.5 play since we launched this new tool, you're definitely profitable. So we were kind of toying with ranges throughout the week, but the AI just came back. It's like, listen, it doesn't actually matter, because if you don't want to avoid below 60%, because that's hitting at a crazy 76.2% rate. So for this week, we're not going to pay attention to ranges. We're just going to make sure that we don't touch minus 1.5 spreads, because that's not what has been profitable. So if it says minus 1.5, just don't touch it. That doesn't mean go plus 1.5 the other side. Don't touch it. And that's something as well that I'm trying to get all of you guys to understand is, if you see something, so if you find something you like on the app, and then you look at the rules and you follow the guidelines, and it says, oh, we're not going to play the over on this prop because XYZ, that does not mean play the under, or vice versa. You have to understand that there are 3 options in sports betting for over-under picks or whatever. So if there is, like, let's just use spread as an example, because that's what we've been talking about. There's plus 1.5 for baseball, there's minus 1.5, and then there's fading completely. You have to understand that you have to have that in your mindset, that fading is an option. So if you're looking at one direction on a prop, let's say it's pitcher A over 5.5 strikeouts, but then we have a rule in our trifectas or a rule in our ban list that says we don't play this because XYZ, that does not mean to go under 5.5 strikeouts. That means don't touch this prop. You do not have to force bets. There are so many good bets on a given day. Why in the world would you play something that is against what the AI is saying? And it's just, I'm going to stop that rambling. You have to understand that fading, which means do not touch it at all, is better than betting the opposite and risking money for no reason at all. So I noticed that a handful of times last week, so I just want to make sure I harp in on that. Fading is an option. If you're looking at something and one of our rules, one of our guidelines is against it, that does not mean play the opposite. It just means don't touch it. Fade the gosh dang play. All right, kids. Let's look and see what we got for Monday here. Our Friday play. So there were 5 trifectas, I believe 5, that we were looking at on Friday's show. Out of all 5 of those trifectas, we went 4-1. So the only miss was gosh dang Chris Sale, which we're going to just, you can stay on the ban list. We're just not going to touch him anymore. So out of all of the 5 trifectas that we pulled up on screen on Friday's show, 4 hit, and Sale's the only one that missed. So we're going to hopefully find some success like that again for today's show. We're going to do what we always do, kids. We're going to move the line to 13. We'll move the difference to 17. And we're going to look for trifectas first. There are only 3 pitchers that hit this range. And there's 3 pitchers that hit this range. And Palante is the only pitcher that has an over projection. But that's not a full 1.0 difference. So it looks like today we are targeting either Sugano or May. Now, if you've been paying attention to anything so far this MLB season, you already know that we're locking in this guy. Why do you ask? Because this guy has started. We have made him the play of the day in 3 consecutive starts. Sagano is not a bad pitcher. That's not why we target him. His pitch design, his pitch repertoire, how he attacks batters is to get them to fly out, to pop out, to ground out. He actually had a really great game in his last game. I think he went like a full 7 innings, maybe only allowed 1 run. But because strikeout is not part of his strategy, he's not a strikeout pitcher. He's going to get you to make contact how he wants you to make contact. So you ground out, you fly out, or you pop out. He pitched 7 innings, and I think he only had 1 or 2 strikeouts with a 3.5 line. We have went against him, went under. He's had the exact same line too, under 3.5 the last 3 starts, and we've targeted him every single time. We're going to go back to it. The AI actually had him as a projection on his last start of 2.0. It's even lower today at 1.8. He can still get 3 strikeouts, and we can still hit. Because we made so much money on Sagano, and because everything here is already working for us, I think we're going to go ahead and look at this guy again. Now, we also have another one that's a trifecta here. Dusty May, first thing Miami, he's got a 5.5 line with a projection of 4, which is a full 1.5 difference. Sportsbooks are also favoring the under. The only question I have is, so it looks like he's kind of been hot and cold here. So his first start right here, so he hit, he missed, he hit, he missed. I mean, if we're following that trend, it means he's going to hit, but we don't, that's nothing. So 5 innings pitched, 6 innings pitched. The fact you can go 6 innings pitch and only get 1 K is pretty interesting. It's really hard to do. 7 Ks in 6 innings, 5 Ks in 5 innings. Gave up 7 runs here. He's only, so if you remember in the past few shows, when we're targeting overs, we like to see the K percentages for each side being 20% and higher. So against righties, he actually sucks on striking out righties. Only 13.9% through all of his starts so far this season. He's striking out lefties a little bit better, 25%. But the Miami Marlins, they have this data, and they're like, okay, so we're just going to put, like, actually, his projected roster is kind of concerning here. I was just about to say they're going to put righties against him if he's not striking out righties. Xavier Edwards is a switch hitter, so let's just say he's going to bat right. And then we have Jesus, Kyle, Matt, left, and then Liam Hicks, left. So actually I have a handful of lefties there. So the only other thing I want to look at here is the team trends. Hold on, who was Sagano versing? Let's look at that one. We're still going back to the Wells Sagano. He hasn't let us down yet. Who's he versing? Yankees. And I'm pretty sure Yankees are a pretty high strikeout team. So Yankees and Miami is what we're looking at here. Yeah, Yankees. Oh, man. So Yankees are actually the 3rd most strikeouty team. And we're going under 3.5. Remember that. But it's not that he struggles to get people to strike out. It's that he doesn't try. The only strikeout I think he got in his last start is because it was a full count and the batter didn't swing, hoping to get ball 4, and it was a strikeout looking. The Yankees, I feel like they're pretty decent at making contact, and so they're either going to drive them out early by lighting them up, or they're just going to foul out and pop out and ground out. Typically, with any other pitcher, I feel like we would probably avoid Sagano because they're the 3rd best strikeout team. But it's also worth noting that if we sort by the last 3 here, New York Yankees are actually like above the halfway point here. They've only allowed 7.67, which is 2 away from being the best, where the Mets are in the last 3, and pretty far away from being the worst. So recently, the Yankees are striking out less. Now, the other team we're looking at was Miami, right? So Miami is 6th most in strikeouts this season, but again, they're but they're striking out a little bit less recently. 7.33 is like 10th-ish fewest over the last 3 games. But I don't think we have to force May because we already know we're looking at Sagano. Any day that we have Sagano, until it doesn't hit, we're going to look at him. We're 3-0 on going under Sagano 3.5. So even if we miss today, we're still a profitable 75% because the record would be 3-1 against him. But that's not his focus point. His focus point is not striking out pitchers or batters. But if you want to look at Dusty May, you can, because he's an over 5.5, and Miami does strike out. But what I don't want to happen is us do Sugano and Dusty May, and then May only gets 5 strikeouts and misses, and then we're a 1-1 for the day when Sagano hits. So you can do that if you want to, but I think just to make sure that we have a profitable day, I think we're just going to leave May alone because we don't need to force it, and because the Miami Marlins are striking out a little bit less than their average recently. Something else that we're working on, and this is, you guys are going to love this. We had, I think it was P-Madge in our Discord. He's like, so if you know how we have, for NBA, I'll show you here real quick. So, you know, we have like this defensive ranking thing that's helped make us a ton of money and helped make us avoid losing a ton of money, because we have these rankings right here. We can easily see them. I don't know what time this week it's going to come out, but hopefully soon. But what we're going to do is we're going to make it where you don't, just for strikeouts for right now. So not everything, but just for strikeouts. We're going to make it where you don't have to go to this tool just to see this. So the goal is design-wise, and usually I don't tell you guys about the design stuff until it's out, but I'm pretty hyped about this, and you guys are going to love it. But let's say we're looking at a pitcher, right, and he's versing Colorado. So where you see that NBA data for defense versus position, so like the Detroit Pistons are 120th worse on defending point guards in regards to allowing points. So that bit of data, it'll say under the pitcher's matchup, Colorado is number 1 for most strikeouts. So it'll just say Colorado first in K, and then it'll also say what their rank is in their last 3. So if they are better recently or even worse recently, you'll see that those 2 values as well. And that's going to make it easier for us to quickly, the whole point of PlayerProps.ai is not just to educate you and make you guys better at finding your own picks, so you don't have to pay people for their picks who may not even do any research and just guess blindfolded, but not just to make you smarter, not just to make you a better picker, but to also make the time you put into research extremely less time consuming. So there's people who actually crush betting and they still download PlayerProps.ai and they still sign up, because even though they're already extremely skilled, they know that the research and all the data that's in PlayerProps.ai shaves their time down from 3 hours to potentially 10 minutes. So I continuously want to add features and tweak our tools to make it easier and easier. So for the people out there that work 9 to 5 and you can't even be on your phone at work, that when you get home at 5:30 p.m., 6 p.m., 6:30 p.m. for a 7 p.m. First pitch for like the late slates, you can pull up PlayerProps.ai and figure out in 5 minutes or less, hey, based on everything that Travis has taught us in 600 plus YouTube videos and everything he says in Discord, with all the guidelines with the trifecta and the bankroll management, within 5 minutes, I know we're going to be looking at this person for this prop for this side. So maybe we can get that out by the end of the day. I'm going to check with my devs here in a second, but that's going to be a cool feature that's going to shave down your need to necessarily click and go to this tool when looking at pitcher strikeout specifically. But ladies and gents, of course, it's Sagana Day. So that's what we're locking in. Good luck. And as it says up top, this is not a suggestion. This is a requirement. If you ever need help, just ask. There's no such thing as a dumb question in our community. We have the #1 most friendliest, most welcoming, most helpful sports betting community on planet Earth. And there's nobody that's even close to us. Every other Discord out there, and I'm in all of them. Every other Discord out there has toxic trolls that just want to make fun of you for asking silly questions. That doesn't happen here. We've kicked out all the trolls. All the trolls are banned. Just a welcoming, friendly, helpful community. So if you're not part of it, you need to be. Get in there, sync your accounts, unlock the free channels, use the free version of the app. And if you need help, ask questions. Good luck.